South Point is also proud to provide a variety of relaxing amenities for the guests who want to be pampered. Soak up the sun and let your stress melt away in our lagoon-style paradise swimming pool. A relaxing getaway.
Welcome in. Good afternoon. Happy Monday, the wrap-up of week number 6 in the National Football League. It is Sports by the Book Football Frenzy. Jeff Parles. Ryan McCormick is here as well. Ryan, early wake-up call for you actually turns out pretty nicely.
Yeah, it was actually great.
Caleb Williams looks great, and the Chicago Bears are 4-2.
Yeah.
And the entire NFC North is 4-2 or better.
If you take every team in the NFC North and put them in a different division,
they're in first place.
They are in first place in 5 out of the 7 other divisions in football. So
Pretty good start for the NFC North. And you heard it right here on this show during the summer because someone who only gets something right every once in a while told you that the NFC North was going to be the best division in football. Through 6 weeks, I'll take that lap.
Yeah, you were due.
For as of right now. Yeah, I was due. That is true, Ryan. Well, joining us right out of the chute today, it's our good friend Vinny Magliulo.
Gentlemen.
Yeah, Vinny.
Before we get into what was a very fun day if you were a favorites bettor yesterday, we'll get to that in a moment. Where are we at right now at tonight's game? Because this is, look, even by Jet standards, this has been a screwed up week. But
there's a reason that soap operas are many are still filmed in New York. You know that, right? And they're not just in Midtown Manhattan. I mean,
they go across the river to New Jersey too.
Yeah.
But even with that, if the Jets win tonight, the Jets are in first place.
That's right.
So it's
by virtue of tiebreakers.
The team that's actually from the state of New York, Buffalo, at the Jets, and Vinny, this has been a big time mover all over the place.
Yeah.
We still haven't gotten a scenario where the Jets have been favored in this game, but it's been all over the map over the last few days, especially.
Yep. So again, and by the way, you know the NFL comes out on Sunday evening here at South Point after halftime of the Sunday night game. So last Sunday night, the Bills opened as 2-point favorites to 2.5 very early in the week, and then it's been all Jets for the better part of the week. Now the Bills sit as 1-point favorites. Total on this game, 41.5, which is exactly where it opened. So not a lot of movement on the total in this game. But there's carryover, actually, to both teams in this game based on what happened yesterday. Which, go ahead. Ask.
Well, I didn't even have to ask. I already knew already, just knowing how the two favorites I bet yesterday, they both covered.
Oh, you bet the favorites?
I only bet two of them.
Oh, you're the guy that bet the favorites.
I only bet 2 of them. The rest of look, capped off with a touchdown that didn't need to happen at the Meadowlands last night to have Cincinnati Katie bar the door through and get the cover. But Vinny, boy, what an obscene day for favorites yesterday, where the only one who covered all numbers, and they didn't even cover the closing number, was the Washington Commanders, who only pushed the 7. They did not cover the 6.5 as a dog. Everybody else, other than Cleveland, who covered them all, no other underdog covered yesterday.
Let me just say this. We tip our caps to the bettors. They had an outstanding day yesterday. They had great combinations in their multi-leg bets, parlays, point spread parlays, money line parlays. You know, it wasn't really straight bets that were outstanding. And again, professional bettors took a lot of the sides of the opposite sides. But the fact that, look, 2 dogs covered and 2 games fell yesterday on the number. So when that happens, typically that's going to point towards the public doing well, and you have to give them credit for that. Listen, here's the thing about bettors: they're resilient. And
what makes you say that?
You know, well, because they're relentless too, and that's okay. Look, in this crazy business of ours, you know, there are going to be days like yesterday, and I would say it was probably the best day. Was certainly the best day for bettors this year. I'd say probably the best day in the last 2.5 seasons. So a great day for them. And from our side of the counter, you tip your cap. You don't gloat when you have a great day. You don't cry when things go the other way. It's the nature of the business. And as you can see, all the lights are on.
Look, we weren't concerned about you on that. I can tell you that. We knew you were going to be here today. We knew that. I will throw this out there because I just want to correct myself. There were 3 dogs that covered yesterday. But it was a quirky way to get there on 2 of them.
Yeah.
Because Indy opened as a favorite and then got bet to a dog.
Yeah, right.
And in Chicago was a side you guys needed tremendously because everyone in the world was on Jacksonville seemingly, and the Bears beat the snot out of them in London. That
game. So I guess you consider that the dog game, and that was a game. That was about the only game that
went your way. Well, did you win on the Philly Cleveland game with that game landing an underdog cover or no? Probably not, right?
No,
no.
Yeah,
because you took Cleveland.
I told you we won one game, Jeff. How many times you want me to say? We won one game, Jeff.
Vinny, it's so odd.
Is this on?
Vinny, it's so odd that it's one game only on that side of the counter. I have to hear it to make it go through my brain as many times as possible.
Okay, I'll say it again before I go. And when Jimmy Vaccaro comes in at the end of the show, he'll say it. I'll make sure he says it. But again, listen, these things happen, and as I've always said, look, if bettors don't have banner days sometime, then this business is not going to prevail. Here's how you know it was a great day for the bettors, okay? And like Jimmy and Chris, we still like to get the paper. So I go out in the morning and I go get the paper. All right,
what did it say on the front page?
Forget about what it said. It's that 3 of my neighbors were outside and they're doing this and they're hey Vinny, they're waving parlay card tickets. I mean, at 6:00 in the morning, I'm saying I never see anybody out there when I go get the paper. Right, I'm usually the only one out there. But no, not this morning. Everybody wanted to see Vinny first thing this morning. So, yeah, if this was the election week, us bookmakers could be write-ins, and I think we'd do real well. So
it's pretty good for tonight.
Yeah,
we just talked about it at the Open. Mm-hmm. Just like we said, Vinny, important game for both teams. Both teams, if they lose tonight, whoever loses, assuming there is a loser in this game, which. If we end up with a tie, I know everyone will love that result.
Okay. Do you want to bet that?
Hey, that's a check covered +1, my friend. If that game lands a tie, and it would also bust up there will be no ties this year in the NFL bet that I made during week 3. But Vinny, just this is a game where this is circled on everyone's calendar in the AFC East because we thought the AFC East was going to be this tremendous 3-horse race with Buffalo down, Miami vaulting up the board, the Jets with a lot of talent and an aging quarterback and a bad coaching staff. And here you are where Miami looks pretty dead so far with the Tua Tagovailoa injury. Mm-hmm. And the Jets are 2-3, and Buffalo, after that roaring 3-0 start, have lost 2 straight.
I think when you look at it, Jeff, and all good and important points, listen, we know that there's a rebuild up in New England, right, guys? Tua's injury is a major factor, and some other injuries that they've had down in Miami. And then the Jets, look, it's drama. There's a coaching change now, but the players are the ones that are going to have to get it done. Let's remember, not only did Robert Saleh get fired, but Hackett is not demoted. The play caller
He's demoted.
Anymore. So you have to see what's going now, because let's face it too, Aaron Rodgers has been the OC, right? He's the offensive coordinator. So plays were coming in, and he's audible. He's changing the plays at the line of scrimmage, which okay, great. He's got that experience, and he can read what's before him. But they've got to execute, and it's not just him. The offensive line has been good, but the running game has not been good. The quarterback play has not been good. So really, things are in the Jets' hands. And really, I think when you look at the division, what's the most in every team, the most important position is the quarterback position. The Bills still have the advantage at quarterback. That's so you've got all these factors involved in who's going to prevail head to head to take control of that division. It's a huge game tonight because, as you said, whoever wins tonight is going to be in the driver's seat because it's a head-to-head. It's really a 2-game swing because of head-to-head competition.
Vinny, Buffalo already has a win over Miami.
Yeah.
The Jets beat New England. New England's not a factor in this division. they're a long project for Gerard Mayo and company.
Well, sure,
up there
there's
at
a lot
this
to do there. We know
that. But you're 100% right, especially if Buffalo wins tonight and is 4-2 with the Dolphins and Jets having losses against them. Oh, and by the way, those were both road wins and Buffalo wins tonight.
Both teams still have to go to Buffalo.
I don't want to say the division's over because it's October 14th, but it would be a big uphill climb for either Miami getting Tua back or the Jets to figure out anything positive if the Jets don't win the game here tonight. And Buffalo could really be sitting pretty without having, honestly, Ryan, without having their best stuff since week 3.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with you guys that this is a huge one when it comes down to the division, but I think it only comes down to between the two of them. Because if you look at this division as a whole, they are, all 4 teams have the 4 of the 6 weakest remaining schedules in the NFL. So if the Bills do get this one, they are going to have the upper hand. They are going to have the driver's seat of this division. If the Jets get this one, the Bills are still going to be able to not run the table, but win games that they need to stay competitive in this division and compete to try and win the division later in the year because they do have a second game. So I don't think it's as big of a game as the later games in the year will be, but very wide open window for either loser on this side.
And we saw what the Bills did last year. They were struggling, but they made that run down the stretch. And I think the fact that they, between free agent losses and injuries from last year, they're still trying to figure some things out, right? And they did it last year. And they're positioned to do it again, frankly. So they're to me, they're the favorite in the division.
They should be until further notice.
Right?
They should be until further notice at this point. Again, Buffalo's won. It's been consistent on the Jets more than not here with this one coming tonight. All right, Vinny, we'll let you go back to work.
I'm going back to work. There's some baseball games, too.
Yeah,
so,
Dodgers have one loaded with nobody out in a 5-run game. So this is
far from over.
Far from over at Dodger Stadium with 12 outs to get for the Mets. All right, Vinny, thank you as always.
Gentlemen.
Thank you, Vinny.
Crew, outstanding.
All right, Ryan, let's dive into tonight.
Yes, sir.
So we mentioned it. It's 1 now here at the South Point after being 1.5 and 2, even as high as 3 at the beginning of the week. Total's been bet up, which I'm going to get to that in a second. It's 41.5 on this total now. I'm just curious, Ryan, we're just coming from at least the outside. Everyone who's watched the shows knows my background at this point when it comes to the Jets. Just from the outsider's perspective here, how do you look at both of these two teams where after 3 weeks, Aaron Rodgers looked healthy and the Jets looked like a real threat and Buffalo looked like the best team in the NFL.
Yeah.
And then since then, both of these teams are combined 0-4 since those 5-1 combined starts for these two teams.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what to think of and how these teams kind of dropped off this cliff. And the Bills being a 8 to not top half of the league, but that middle third is where the Bills would be where they would be a top half team if they were fully healthy and had answers on both sides of the ball and from their coaching staff. But the Jets, it took me a little while to see Aaron Rodgers be healthy and be confident in this offense. Going into last week, we saw frustration from Garrett Wilson saying the offense wasn't looking as good, and they even demoted Nathaniel Hackett and now getting a new offensive coordinator and Todd Downing. So just a lot of questions for these two teams. Both teams have made an appearance in my top 10 power rankings, but very much on the decline these last few weeks. So, yeah, that was the answer to the question.
So I'll just ask you too, because this is by any look, the Jets have a screwed up franchise to begin with.
Yes,
let's be real here. This is as screwed up. This is as screwed up of a week as you're ever going to see. You fire your coach after a normal week. You were in London last week, and you come back and Woody Johnson fires Robert Saleh, and it was Nathaniel Hackett wasn't going to be the play caller regardless this week. There'd already been reports out that Hackett was going to get demoted. Saleh had actually already demoted Hackett before he got fired himself. It's the correct deal for the Jets to demote Nathaniel Hackett.
Yeah.
The only question mark is here, you have Todd Downing coming in, who, when he was in Tennessee, was the orchestrator of either the 28th or 29th most effective offenses in the National Football League when he was there. And he had in that offense, now look, the Jets offense has, I don't want to besmirch Ryan Tannehill because Tannehill had a few good years at Tennessee, but Aaron Rodgers, even this version of Aaron Rodgers is still better than Ryan Tannehill. Derrick Henry was better than Breece Hall. But the wide receivers the pass catchers are way better on this Jets teams than any of those Tennessee teams had. I just wonder if this is a one-game, hey, the Jets come out, new play caller, get some extra juice, and take advantage of a rivalry. Remember, the Jets have won the last 2 games at home against Buffalo, and Allen, who hasn't thrown an interception this year, by the way, has thrown 5 interceptions in those 2 games.
Yeah, I mean, the home team has actually won this rivalry game, the last 5 matchups. Yep. So, yeah, big questions for me on the offensive side for the Jets. Even going back to Downing being the OC of the Raiders, still a bottom half of the league, bottom third of the league offense. So I don't really see there being a whole lot of improvement from Hackett to Downing. Downing was the passing games coordinator before getting promoted to offensive coordinator. So Week 1, 21 pass attempts for the Jets. Week 2, 30. Week 3, 35. Week 4, 42. And Week 5, 54 pass attempts. So steadily been growing more and more. I don't think we're going to see more than 54 pass attempts tonight. But after Garrett Wilson asked for the offense to have a little bit of a change, they force-fed him 23 targets. They got 8 targets to Tyler Conklin and 9 targets to Conklin and 9 targets to Lazard. So they were, when the players said that there needed to be a change, they force-fed it and let there be a change to see. But obviously didn't turn out that well, losing in London to the Vikings after losing to the Broncos at home. So one thing I did look at is teams the week after London either take a bye week or choose to play their next game. So they allowed teams to start choosing to play a game, not have their bye week in 2016. So 2008 to 2016, teams were forced to take a bye week after the international series. So at the conclusion of this year, so when the Patriots and Panthers both go out to Germany, and when the now Patriots and Jags play this week in London, 84 teams will have played in Europe. 69 teams will have taken their bye. Of the 15 that did not take their bye since 2016, 5-0 straight up against the spread last year. 9-1 in the last 2, 11-4 since 2016. So good sign for the Jets, not having that kind of layover, trying to get their time zones back, maybe even having the time zone advantage, being a couple hours ahead for the game. So that note leans to the Jets. Again, 9-1 last 2 years. No bye week following London.
That's fascinating because you heard like a lot of people when they started allowing that. Yep. Why would you do this? Get your body clock, all that. But if you're an East Coast team, like if you're the Chargers, the Raiders, the Broncos, anyone like out west that gets shipped over to Europe, I get it. That's a long flight. And it's even more hours. You're talking a quarter of a day, a third of a day. Yep. For an East Coast team, it makes sense to not take the bye. Like New York to London is the same flight as it is to New York to LA, basically. Yeah. So it makes a lot of sense for the Jets to have done this go around. And again, 9-1. 9-1
in the last 2 years.
9-1 in the last. Yep. That is super impressive across the board. All right, we'll take a quick break. And we get back, we're going to go into the props, and we're going to look at our college football power ratings as well when we get back. Sports by the Book, Football Frenzy, looking at Jets and Bills to wrap up Week 6.
Once you've satisfied your hunger, get ready for more of the hottest casino games in Vegas. Our 24-hour, 30-table non-smoking poker room proudly hosts all the most popular poker games with a variety of betting limits. Visit the poker room for a schedule of daily tournaments. Whether you're going to hold 'em or fold 'em, the best place for poker is at South Point Casino. You'll notice that our craps tables are usually the loudest in the casino. If you've never played, join one of our free craps lessons to find out what makes this game so exciting. Check with the craps dealer for schedules and give it a roll. Bingo is also an exciting way to spend your time. We offer 7 sessions of bingo every day. And each session includes a cash ball jackpot, 12 bingo games, a progressive double action game, and a $10,000 bonus coverall. Electronic units are available. If you haven't played bingo with us, give it a try today. Guests can also get in on the action at our one-of-a-kind race and sports books. 2 separate rooms designed to maximize your experience and comfort. Our sports book, with over 400 seats, puts you right in the middle of the action, 24 hours a day. The friendly ticket writers are happy to help, and it's conveniently located next to the famous Del Mar Deli, where you'll find supersized portions of delicious deli items like roast beef, pastrami, and Reuben sandwiches, or soups, salads, and pizza, plus spectacular desserts fit for a king. And right next door is the race book, over 150 seats, each with its own TV screen. There are 16 interactive player terminals, so you can bet right from your seat.
I mean, we can go play more craps. I'm all in on that.
I'm for that, yeah.
I'm all in on that right now. Welcome back in Sports by the Book. Football Frenzy. He's Ryan McCormick. I'm Jeff Parles. Thrilled to be with you. Ryan, what stands out to you in the anytime touchdown market here today? Over at DraftKings Sportsbook right now, the Breece Hall, minus 115, your betting favorite. By the way, sorry for the stutter there. I think the Mets just got out of a bases-loaded jam with a double play somehow.
Huge double play there.
Assuming that is upheld.
Yeah, huge,
but
yep. They are going to challenge?
They're going to challenge somewhere. But that game was 6-0. The Mets, Mark Vientos, a grand slam in the second inning. Out at second for sure. He's safe.
No, they got him at first.
I think he's out at first.
They got him at first.
Alonso, stay on the bag.
Pop. Yep.
I think he's okay. I think he's out. It's worth the challenge if you're the Dodgers.
Yep.
Just a significant
Keep the inning
spot.
Going. Yeah. Get an extra fourth,
it's close,
get
though.
A fourth run there.
We'll see how it plays out on replay. Knowing the replay room there in New York has been all over the place this postseason. We'll see how it plays out. All right, back to the football at hand.
Yeah.
Breece Hall, minus 115. Anytime touchdown. James Cook, plus 115 on that. Garrett Wilson, plus 140. Josh Allen, plus 140, plus 145. Alan Lazard, plus 225, who actually was leading the NFL in touchdown receptions going into this week, as ridiculous as that is. Keon Coleman at plus 285. Braylon Allen, plus 320. Shakir, who is still questionable, plus 330. And then plus 450 on the Bills are now plus 450 as well. Anytime touchdown defense, and Conklin at plus 450. What are we thinking, if anything, here, Ryan?
Well, so in our live chat, all you got to do is subscribe to the channel. For 5 minutes, you can chime in the live chat. We've got John and Serotonin Cowboy thinking it's going to be a big day for Breece Hall. John's got Breece Hall anytime touchdown, minus the 115, and Serotonin Cowboy feeling Breece night on the way. Also cheering for the Mets versus Cleveland in the World Series. And we've got Vince Las Vegas asking if the Jets deliver at the Meadowlands this evening. But anyway, in the anytime touchdown market tonight, I like Alan Lazard. He's gotten at least one end zone target each week this season. The lowest amount of targets he's had this year is 3. He caught all 3 in week 3. He's also had 9 in week 1, 4 in week 2, 8 in week 4, and 9 last week. So the former Packer is getting the looks from the former teammate in Green Bay in Aaron Rodgers. So I like Alan Lazard tonight, plus the 225.